Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. First of all, I would just like to say I read the comments and I get a lot of feedback about me speaking too fast and my accent being too strong. So as unnatural as it's going to be, I'm going to try my very best to speak slowly and clearly, and feel free to let me know if that makes my videos any more understandable and whether this is actually of benefit. Let's begin. As you may or may not know, I recently travelled to Sweden, and Sweden is stereotypically known for being an extremely expensive country. In this video, I will be breaking down how much I spent in my 48 hours in Sweden and whether or not I actually consider it to be an expensive country. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to start with the flights. I spent £24 on the flight to Sweden and £59 for the return, as well as £12 on travel insurance, which, to be honest, with Ryanair you don't necessarily need. Overall, for the flight in itself, I paid £94.97. In terms of accommodation, we paid £60 per night. We stayed for 2 nights, and because there was 2 of us, they charged for the room and not for the individual. So I paid 60 and she paid 60. So for me, accommodation was £60 and that is it. Now, as I get into how much I actually spent in Sweden, let me just get the exchange rate out there. £1 British pound is equivalent to around 1270 Swedish kroners. Obviously, as the exchange rate fluctuates, this changes, but generally it is within that range. So the first expense we made was a coach transfer from the airport to our hotel, which cost 159 Swedish kroners, which at the time was equivalent to £12.70. On the way back from the hotel to the airport, this was £11 as my friend ordered the tickets online. I don't know whether this was because of the exchange rate at the time or whether it was cheaper online, but generally it was more expensive on the way there than it was on the way back to the airport. When we got to Sweden, because we were doing a lot of touring and we were constantly traveling, we wanted to get the 24-hour travel card, which was 110 Swedish kroners, as we had a student discount. Without the student discount, it would have been 165. So we paid £8.83 and we bought 2 of those. One for the first day and one for the second day. But for some reason, they charged me 20 kroners extra on the second day. I'm not actually sure why, but I just think it's worth mentioning now so that when I total up all my expenses, everything makes sense. So overall, on transfer, we spent £42.97. Next, as for touring and the trips, we went to visit Skansen, the Viking Museum, Fotografiska, Gamla Stan, and the Ice Bar. Skansen was 185 Swedish kroners, which at the time was equivalent to £14.85. Little bit on the pricier side, but this was definitely my favourite out of all the places we visited, and I would definitely recommend it. If you haven't watched my Sweden vlog, then I'm going to link that up here. Make sure you do so if you want to get a real understanding of the country. The Viking Museum was a little bit cheaper. It cost us 165 kroners, which was equivalent to £13.25. Gamla Stan was free, of course, as it is just the city's old town. Fotografiska cost us 155 kroners, aka £12.44. And the Ice Bar, I put Ice Bar in the category with trips as opposed to food, because I think the Ice Bar is more of an experience than actually going to get a drink. And I'm not actually sure how much that cost in the kroners, and I can't seem to find it anywhere, but based on my bank statement, that was £19.27, and what we got there was entry to the Ice Bar and 1 drink. Next, food. The food was actually surprisingly cheap in my opinion. As soon as we landed, we went to the McDonald's at the airport. I got a burger. I guess this was like the Swedish equivalent of a chicken mayo, because it cost 20 kroners, just under £2, and a Oreo iced frappe. That was 38 kroners. Altogether for my McDonald's, I paid £4.63. Next thing we ate was the next day in Skansen. I got a Swedish flatbread, which was 110 kroners, £8.83. Elise got a burger, but I'm not sure how much that was. I wanted to try it because it was like special Swedish meat. It was like sausage, but in burger form, but I don't eat pork, so We later went to Gamla where I decided I wanted to take a fika break, because how can you be in Sweden and not try fika, which is coffee and the cinnamon bun. Again, I'll go into more detail on this in my other Sweden video. That was 65, aka £5.22. And to end our day, we decided we wanted to go out for a meal, something not too bougie, something maybe a little bit Swedish, just something, you know, something perfect for the occasion, and that's what we found. We went to a place called Jensen's House. Again, I really wanted to try Swedish meatballs in Sweden, but because I'm not a meat eater, my options were limited. But regardless, we had salmon, we had garlic bread as a starter, and an all-you-can-eat salad bowl, so you could just keep having more and more and more without there being any additional price. We also had a cocktail, and for all of that I paid £26.33, which in my opinion is actually an amazing price. I think that's really impressive. Now, I'm sure the cocktails alone are like £15 in London. It was really good food, the quality was good, it looked good, there was a lot of it, I wasn't hungry after. I was quite happy with that. On the last day, all I ended up having was a burrito and some bubble tea. The burrito being £10.84 and the bubble tea £4.98. That therefore sums up my food expenses to £60.83. Next up, we have snacks, which I'm going to run through a little bit faster. I bought marshmallows in Skansen to have over the campfire. They were £1 each. I bought some chocolate bars, 2 for £39, which equaled to £3.13. We went 7-Eleven and bought some snacks, which this is what I thought was expensive. I bought a Fanta for 25, which is £2 something, 3 packs of gum, and a Swedish chocolate ball, which is 10 out of 10, by the way. I do recommend it. And for all of that, I paid £9.71. £9.71 for a Fanta, 3 packs of gum, and a little chocolate ball. Anyways, snacks altogether £14.77. Next, souvenirs. I bought a mask, a ring, 2 magnets, a key ring. Yeah, that's it. And that cost me £25.37. And the last expense, because I am still with Halifax, I get charged an extra fee for using my card abroad. Non-GBP fees altogether totaled up to £15.17, which makes the overall sum of my 48 hours in Sweden £373.89. Like I said, this includes the flights, the accommodation, absolutely every single thing that I spent during this time. To be honest, I don't think that's too bad. I don't think that's a crazy price to pay for the amount of things that we experienced and saw. Like I said, I do think the food was relatively cheap. The transport was relatively cheap as well. I'm sure TFO is more expensive than that. The snacks, I would say, are probably on the more expensive side. Just general things that you would buy on a day-to-day basis, I think were a little bit more expensive. But for tourists, I definitely don't think it was as bad as people make it out to be. But that is my personal opinion. To some people that might be more, but at the same time you can always budget more than I did. In general, after sorting out your flights and accommodation, I would say £200 to take with you on this trip would definitely be more than enough, unless you want to make more expenses that I obviously didn't. I think I kept mine relatively simple. But anyways, I hope this video helped. I hope it gave you an idea of what the prices are, and as usual, make sure you like, subscribe, watch all my other videos, and I will see you in the next one.